Hello again, everybody. My name is Dan Roberts, and I'm the publisher and editor of the Vegas Voice newspaper. TV show is called The Last Word, and our goal is to make sure that we discuss all the senior issues, everything that is affecting our readers, and hopefully the answers that we have. We're going to discuss this month with our Assemblywoman, Victoria Seaman, who is a senatorial candidate, State Senate 6. Rana, you get to go first. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I get to go last, too. Don't
you
forget
also
that.
get to go last.
Okay. Before we begin, a quick mention about the Vegas Voice. We're the largest, most read senior publication in Southern Nevada, from Aliante to Boulder City, and beyond, too, if you're over 50. If you get our monthly newspaper, read us online. Or I should say, if you don't get our monthly newspaper, read us online. And if you don't get the paper and you want to get it, please give us a call. You can reach us at 702-251-4441, and we'll be happy to make sure that you do receive it.
There you go. Nicely done, by the way.
Thank you.
You have the great pleasure of introducing Assemblywoman Victoria Seaman, and tell her how, let's just say by saying, go ahead, you get the intro. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. I'd like to introduce everybody to Victoria Seaman, Assemblywoman at this time, and hopefully soon a state senator. Victoria?
Thank you, Rana. Thank you both for having me here. I just love your newspaper. So do the constituents of Senate District 6. Very informative, and I'm so grateful for meeting both of you for really bringing issues that were important to us in Carson City. And I'm sure we're going to talk about those today, but I just want to thank you. I'm grateful to both of you for keeping us informed on issues that are important to the state of Nevada.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Victoria, one of the questions that I always ask elected officials is, why in the world would anybody want to be an elected official? I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you see all the antagonism involved in politics nationwide and the state of Nevada, and it takes a very special person who wants to go through all that, and I guess you're one of them.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is there are people who want to be politicians and there are people who want to be public servants. I'm a true public servant. I was a businesswoman and really gave up that because felt like businesses and other seniors and so forth were not represented in our government the way that I felt that they should be. And that is the reason I ended up in politics. I actually wanted to get different help fiscal conservatives who would be good public servants elected, and ended up getting elected myself. And that's really what I think we need more of, is people who are willing to serve the public for the needs of the constituents rather than establishment, big lobbyists, and so forth.
And again, I mean, you're an Assemblywoman. You now announced you're running for State Senate District
Correct.
6. And that covers Sun City Summerlin. So I guess senior issues is something that is hopefully very important to you.
Very important to me, and thanks to Rana, who brought forth some of the issues that we really needed to fix in the state. I was completely unaware of those issues. I was in business, so I was aware of some of the issues we had at creating jobs and so forth. But when I decided to get involved and run for office, it was people like Rana who brought forth real issues that were so important, especially to Sun City and our seniors, the most vulnerable of our citizens.
Yeah, I had contacted Victoria and told her when we first started talking about seniors who had family out of state not being able to be their guardians. I contacted Victoria and we sat down to lunch, and I told her about that issue, and she jumped on it immediately because there were so many in the legislature that weren't aware of it. And I asked Victoria to run with it, and she did. She jumped on it as soon as I mentioned it.
Well, before we go into that, you have stated that there are 4 very important issues that you believe affect, I guess, the citizens of the state of Nevada. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one of the first and foremost is taxes. That affects all of us. Unnecessary taxes, I should say. Instead of finding solutions for some of our problems, we have too many legislators that say, well, we'll just throw another tax, or we'll just throw more money at it, which is enlarging our government. And these seniors in my district and all over the state are affected by taxes. The tax that just passed, the largest tax in Nevada state history, comes down and is affecting each and every citizen, not only in when they go to the market, but also in little things such as their phone bill, internet, you'll see that this new largest tax in Nevada history is affecting everyone.
Yep. You know, and it's something that I guess people don't realize. It creeps up on you. And again, you've been very adamant about the fact of taxes, and really, I really think it's to your benefit and the discussion and do everything else with it.
Well, this particular tax, the gross receipts tax, is very dangerous because it affects businesses on their gross profit and not their net profit, the one that was passed. And a very similar bill was voted down by 80% of Nevadans. So, you know, are we representing the people? Who are we representing here? When 80% of Nevadans vote down a gross receipts tax, and then the legislature of 63 push it through, I would say we're not representing the constituents of our districts.
You know, it's one thing, Victoria, when you mention about taxes, that's really ambiguous because you really don't see it come out of your pocket right away.
Right away.
But, you know, one thing that you've been really on target for would affect Sun City Summerlin residents, and let's use them as an example, is the safety issue, which deals with squatters. And that's something that you really can't imagine, but it is a real problem, especially over the last couple of years.
Well, I don't know if you know, but there's been a big increase in crime in Sun City. And I think because people realize that these are vulnerable citizens. And there was someone shot at in a golf cart. Recently.
Really?
I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
It was probably 3-4 weeks ago. And it was a botched robbery, and the assailant actually shot at the gentleman driving in the golf cart. So we put together a crime meeting for the constituents so that Metro could kind of give them tips and talk to them about what they could do to help with the issues. But yes, a squatter issue was one of the legislation that we did this last session because of the housing crisis. We saw an increase in squatting, and squatting brings crime to the neighborhood because anyone who's willing to break into a house and take residence obviously just committed a crime, usually is involved in other crimes. We saw a lot of drug dealing,
right.
You know, just a whole lot of different very dangerous situations. So we did put forth, I primary sponsored a bill to get Metro involved with this because squatting was a civil issue, and unless they were caught breaking into the residence. So now there's legislation on the books called housebreaking. So Metro can now investigate these different squatter issues. So, you know, this is the type of things that I think is important for legislators to look at. And unless you go out and you talk to the constituents and know the neighborhoods, you and be willing to speak to people like Rana, you really don't know what all the issues are. You can't know them unless you go out and you seek it through the community.
And I know that you've been very active going door to door.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess that's such an important part of being a legislator, being a voice for the people. I mean, do you enjoy doing that?
I do. And that's if you are a public servant. If you are doing it, I think, for the right reasons, that you will love it and you'll love going out and talking to the people and finding out what their issues and concerns are. Otherwise, you're just going up doing your own ideology, or the people who put their, if lobbyists are supporting your campaign, then it would be about that instead of really going out and talking to folks and finding out what the problems are, what the concerns are in the community. You can only make it better by going out and meeting as many people in your district as possible. And that's what I've done, and I love doing it. I love talking to people in my district.
You know, and one of the things that, again, when I had the pleasure of meeting you for the first time, and I guess, Rana, you can relate to that because you can relay the story, is that on the guardianship issue, which we've been dealing with, that was like the first time I went to Carson City. That's when I met Victoria, and we had a problem with that bill that Victoria really saved, didn't she?
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
it's really.
I think you should talk about that because
we had been down the hall talking to Assemblyman Sprinkle, and who had put the bill up, and he made some comment that things weren't going well, and he had a feeling that it wasn't going to pass. And we moved on down the hall and were talking to Victoria and mentioned that Assemblyman Sprinkle said it wasn't going to pass. And she just jumped up out of her chair and said, like hell, it's not going to pass. And zoom, went running out of the room down the hall. And the next thing we know, she had everybody back together, and it made it through.
And I mean, giving credit where credit's due. I mean,
Yeah.
Victoria really saved that bill
Yes, she
because
did.
when we met with the other assemblyman, like Mr. Sprinkle, he practically threw us out. Well, threw me out of the
Well, he
office.
threw you out. He didn't like the comments.
He didn't like the comments I made, but again, Victoria
He didn't like your New York
sensibilities.
spin on it.
There
Yes.
you go. But again, I mean, you realized how important this bill was to the senior community throughout the state,
Right.
and give credit where credit's due. And I mean, you really jumped right into it, as Rana said. And I mean, because when you first got up and said, "I'm going to take care of it," I thought you were going to beat the hell out of me.
No, I love your New York sensibility, and I love your passion, and that's what helps me to get out there and be passionate about it. So I'm just grateful that you guys were up there and you were so passionate about it, because these are issues that when you talk common sense, and I got to say, you hear it all the time, where's the common sense in Carson City?
Mm-hmm.
And so you really have to go and talk common sense to them and let them understand this is important. This might not be affecting you now, but it could affect people that you know.
Absolutely.
And so common sense, passion and common sense. I love that. I'm glad you guys brought that to Carson City so we could get good work done.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the Vegas Voice has endorsed Victoria's Senate campaign and her run for Senate District
you.
6.
Absolutely.
And again, I mean, we feel that she really brings something that all seniors and really everybody in the state can relate to. Again, common sense, and someone who we know that she cares.
Mm-hmm.
We know that she's passionate about it, and we know that she works. And
Yep.
I mean, that's really a fantastic attribute that you bring.
Well, and both of you as well. I mean, if it wasn't for both of you, I don't know that people would have been aware of the guardianship and the senior abuse that's happening across all of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really thank you both for caring so much. I mean, you didn't have to do what you guys did for seniors.
Well, thank you.
And it's commendable, I must say.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, we got guardianship, we got the safety issue. What do you want to get across to the citizens of Senate District 6? They should vote for you. Yes, you have these positions, but more than that, what do you knock on their door, what do you want to get across to them?
Well, what I want them to know is my word is my bond. If I tell you I'm not going to raise taxes, I'm not going to raise taxes. If I tell you I'm going to go up and fight for you with it might be a little issue for you, a little concern, I'll do that. So first of all, it's the integrity. Honesty and integrity have always been important to me, and standing by what I say I'm going to do. So they know that right away. And I believe that they do know that I care and that they can come to me. I'm accessible. You can reach me by phone. You can reach me by email. I don't have a separate phone for my family as I do for constituents. It's the same phone number. And I allow constituents to call me anytime. If they have a problem, I might not answer the phone at midnight, but you can always leave a message and I'll get back to you. I'm accessible. I think that's the most important thing.
And with that in mind, if people want to get a hold of you, if people want to contribute to your campaign, how do they go about doing it?
My name, victoriaseaman.com. And they can also call me on my cell number, which is 702-466-0407.
There you go. One of the things that I get a kick out of is the idea of, again, you're not a career politician.
No.
You're a businesswoman. You got involved. How does the idealism fit in with the reality when you get up to Carson City? Was it an eye-opener? Is it what you expected? Were you surprised by it, or were you shocked by it? Or
completely shocked, because I went in with the attitude of we're all here to do good for Nevada citizens, and we went up with a full Republican majority, and I thought a lot of things that we have been unable to fulfill over the last 80 years since the Republicans had majority, we would see done, and it doesn't work like that. A lot of people, are politicians and have their own agenda, and you have different ideologies going on. And so I think it was a big eye opener. I think I'm ready to go up as senator and really have learned better how to negotiate things and how to work with people. But I think the most important thing is I did work on the guardianship bill. and the squatter bill bipartisanly.
Right.
And I see how very easy that is to do when you all have a commonality of wanting to do good. So I still believe that people are good and that we can go to Carson City and we can get things done as long as we, listen and educate, other people on maybe issues that they don't have in their district and bring people, to, let them know how serious some of the situations are. Some of the people who are going through certain situations, like you and Rana, going up there and really expressing to the legislators the truth about what's going on, especially in Southern Nevada. A lot of the Northerners did not understand the problems that we had in Southern Nevada.
And do you find that, are you surprised by either the lack of bipartisanship or the infighting? And how do you go about doing it when there's an issue like guardianship, which I guess no one's going to be opposed to, but then there are personalities involved that get in the way. How did you find that? Shocking, or did you have the patience to deal with it? Because I don't.
I had the patience to deal with it. When the issue is important, you find the way to make it happen at any cost. And that's what I did. I went and spoke to people and really, poured my heart out. And from listening to you, the situation of what was going on in Southern Nevada. And we were able to make it happen. So.
No, and again, Victoria, you're running for Senate District 6. It's more than just Sun City Summerlin. What else does the area encompass?
It's a very diverse area. You've got some of the wealthiest neighborhoods and Tournament Hills and so forth, Eagle Hills. And then you have some of the most least affluent areas. So it's very diverse. So it's interesting that I am able to learn about a combination of different issues just because the district is so diverse. That's how I knew about the squatter issue, because a lot of the squatting was in more of the less affluent areas. But now it's moved everywhere. I mean, we see a problem now in some of the more expensive areas where the squatters are now moving into very expensive homes. Wow. But you do get to learn about a different combination of issues. And I think it's important because there are so many different issues depending on where you live.
Excuse me. One more time, if people want to contact you, they want to contribute, how do you do that?
You go to victoriaseaman.com. You can email me at victoria@victoriaseaman.com, and you can phone me at 702-466-0407. That's my personal cell.
And again, we've endorsed Victoria, the Vegas Voice has. Mm-hmm. What do you think people should understand about Victoria?
That she's not a politician. I think that's one of the most important things. I get really tired of dealing with politicians because you don't know what's real and what's just the face they want you to see. Victoria is Victoria. I mean, she's as real today as she was the day that I met her, and she's the type of person I want representing me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's as simple as I can put it. Really.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, one more time, Victoria Seaman, people want to get a hold of you. They want to contribute. They want to help out on your campaign. How do you go about doing it?
You go to victoriaseaman.com and you can call me directly, 702-466-0407, or you can email me at victoria@victoriaseaman.com. And please go to my website. We have a lot of events. Go join my email list because we send out events like Coffee with Constituents. We do town halls. I have a town hall May 19th at Desert Vista, open to constituents of District 6 to come in and meet and greet and ask questions. And really would appreciate if you come. It's at 6:30 p.m.
You got it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We survived, didn't we?
We survived.
Yeah. Well, we got like 30 seconds left. Again, we thank everybody for watching The Vegas Voice. If you need more information about The Vegas Voice, please give us a call at 702-251-4441, or you can email us at thelastword@thevegasvoice.net. So, what else do you want people to know in the 10 seconds we have left?
That we have a fundraiser coming up for our guardianship on June 8th. at the Silverton Hotel. And if you want tickets, you can get them online at thevegasvoice.net, or you can call us again at
702-251-4441.
We look forward to seeing you there. Lots of entertainment, lots of good people, and it's for a good cause. It's for Stop Guardian and Elder Abuse, and it's all going to go to help people that desperately need it. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.